Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Inspire with Fire. I'm Krista Abbott, your host today, and I want to welcome you to Inspire with Fire, where we meet you at the intersection of life, faith, family, and business. I'm excited today because I'm going to be talking to you about God's constant love. Now, I have to be honest, I don't know if we're going to finish this today, so this could very well be part one, and then we'll circle back and cover part two tomorrow. But I want to welcome you guys as you come into the room. I see you joining me this morning, and thank you for being here. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here with me today. And as you come in, if you would just drop a note in the comments, let me know you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you're catching this on the replay, then just drop a hashtag replay in there if you're catching this on the replay, and I will give you a shout out later. But welcome this morning. As you come into the room, just drop a comment and let me know that you're here. So I am going to jump right into our inspiration this morning and just let you guys know what this is all about. So today, our inspiration today comes from Psalm 107, verse 1. And it says this, it says, "Let everyone give all their praise and thanks to the Lord." Here's why. He's better than anyone could ever imagine. Yes, he's always loving and kind, and his faithful love never ends. God's love is constant, and that's what we want to talk about today is the constant love of God. And as I was looking through the rest of that chapter there, and we won't read it all, we won't take the time to do that. I would encourage you to go and do that on your own, though, because inside of there, I found 9, possibly more, characteristics of God's faithfulness. And so this morning, I want to touch just on a few of those, and then tomorrow, perhaps come back and finish up and do a few more for you. But the first characteristic of God's faithfulness that I noticed there came in verses 6 and 7, and that is that God rescues us from trouble and he keeps us safe. So that's one of the ways that he demonstrates his faithfulness and his eternal love for us is through the just rescuing us from troublesome situations and keeping us safe from harm or safe from any dangerous situations. Welcome this morning as you guys come into the room. I just want to welcome you to Inspire with Fire. Drop a note in the comments. Let me know you're here. If you are watching on the replay, then hashtag replay because we love our replay fam. I know not everybody can hop on at 8 in the morning, but or whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. But thank you for being here, those of you who are joining me this morning. So, talking about the faithfulness of God and his constant love, what really is faithfulness? If you look at, you can look it up and read the definition, but really, when I think of faithfulness, I think of a steadiness in loyalty and a steadiness in like an allegiance or steadiness in affection or protection or whatever the thing being provided for is love, that there's a steadiness and a consistency and a reliability associated with it. So when we say that God is faithful, we're in essence saying God is reliable, he's steady, he's constant. So God's love is constant, his affection is constant, his protection is constant, his loyalty toward us as his children is constant. So in Psalm 107, we find these characteristics of his faithfulness. And like I said earlier, the first one that I found outlined and demonstrated specifically in Psalm 107 was that he rescues us from trouble and he keeps us safe. So that is one assurance that we can have from God, is that he's always going to rescue us. All we have to do is call on his name and he's going to be there. Because why? He's faithful. And the second thing I found in Psalm 107 as it relates to the characteristics of faithfulness in God is that he provides for our needs. That that even the land, if the land is hungry or the land is thirsty, then he sends rain and provision and seed to seed to grow in the earth, and rain to water the seed so that it can produce vegetation, that it can produce, harvest for us to enjoy. And so he is constantly providing for our needs when we have needs. So that's another demonstration of his faithfulness. A third one that I saw there is that he brings light to dark places. That we all walk through seasons of darkness, seasons that when we can't see clearly. Darkness really is not, it's not necessarily always an evil season or an evil situation. Darkness can just mean you can't see clearly. It's just a time when things are, you can only see this far instead of that far. Because when there's light, you can see, it's the space around you is illuminated, and you can see more of your surroundings. You know what you're walking into, you know what you're walking toward. But sometimes in a dark time, you may be moving forward, and you may be taking the steps that you need to take, but not always clear and not always certain on where it is that you're going or what you're moving toward. But when you call on God, his faithfulness brings light to those dark circumstances and illuminates it so that you can see where you're headed. So that's another way that God shows his love, his eternal, constant, consistent faithfulness to us, is by bringing light to those dark places. Now, as I said earlier, for those of you jumping on late, thank you for being here. Go back and please catch the replay to hear where we started with this in the beginning. But as I said earlier, there were about 10 of these that I uncovered just in Psalm 107 alone. But I'm only going to cover one more for you today, because I like to keep these broadcasts around the 10-minute mark if I can. Doesn't always happen because I get excited and keep talking. But I want to cover just one more today, and then I'm going to come back tomorrow and we'll do part 2 of this and talk about the remaining characteristics of faithfulness, or the remaining ways that we uncovered, the treasure that we uncovered in Psalm 107 as it relates to the demonstration of God's constant love in our lives. And then, so number 4. So we said number 1, which can be found in verses 6 and 7 of Psalm 107. He rescues us from trouble and keeps us safe. Number 2, which can be found in verse 9, is he provides for our needs. If we're hungry, we're thirsty. If the land around us is hungry or thirsty, he provides for that. Number 3, which can be found in Psalm 107, verse 14, is that he brings light to the dark places, and he brings illumination or light to the dark places. And then number 4, which will be the last one we talk about today, and we'll finish up tomorrow with the remaining ones. But number 4 can be found in verse 16, and it says he brings freedom. Freedom to the captives, freedom to the prisoners, and he breaks the chains, and he breaks down the gates of the prison that we're in. And that's fascinating to me, because we're free. We live sometimes in an illusion of freedom. People think that they're free, but because of the wounds, the unhealed wounds and the hurts in their own life, they're not free in their mind. They're not free in their spirit. But God can bring that complete freedom, and he can break those chains that hold people captive. He can break those chains which keep people bound in old mindsets or old behavior patterns that tie them down and hold them back from the fullness of what he wants to do in their life. So that's 4 ways that God shows his constant love and his faithfulness to us, his complete affection, allegiance, and loyalty. Those are 4 things that we can give thanks for, because why? His faithful love endures forever. And so tomorrow we'll come back and finish up the others, but I want to anchor in this today for us before we go with a decree like we always do. Now, for the decrees, for those who are hopping on for the first time, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I hope you come back and join us for another episode. But to anchor this today, we want to do a decree. And our decrees, we read them together and we read them twice. We read them out loud so that our brains can hear ourselves saying it, because it anchors it deeper into our spirits when our brain hears our own voice speaking out those words. Good morning, Mary. I'm happy you're here today. Thank you. I'll come back and catch the replay. Appreciate you being here. So let's hop over to the decree. Excuse me. Here we go. Today, I will acknowledge the faithfulness of God in my life. Today, I celebrate with gratitude God's eternal love, loyalty, and affection toward me and my family. He is faithful. One more time. Today, I will acknowledge the faithfulness of God in my life. Today, I celebrate with gratitude God's eternal love, loyalty, and affection toward me and my family. He is faithful. All right. So I hope that anchors it in for you today. God is faithful. Acknowledge that, give him praise, give him gratitude, and thank him for the constant love and the demonstration of his constant love in your life. We'll finish this up tomorrow, because as I close it out tomorrow, you're going to see at the end of this, there's a powerful statement that is made at the end of this chapter that I really want to drive home with you guys tomorrow. But we're out of time today. Thank you for stopping by. If you want to find out more about me, you can find out more at kristaabbott.com, or you can visit kingdom818.com for some awesome and cool merchandise. If you want to follow me on Facebook, Create with Krista. If you want to subscribe on YouTube, Krista Abbott. Don't forget to like, comment, follow, subscribe, and share so that we can get this message out to others. I want to thank you again for coming by, and as always, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he lift up his countenance toward you and give you peace. Have a wonderful day.